In today's video, we're going to be going through the Edexcel May 2019 past paper foundation tier. So this is continuing on from last week's video, so feel free to have a watch of that first to see questions 1 through 6. We're going to be doing question 7 today and 8 and 9. Please feel free to give the video a pause and have a go at each question and then see how I do it and compare your answer. I think this is probably the best way for you to learn, as it will give you a chance to have a go and then compare it with the sort of best way of doing the question. But yeah, I'll jump right in now. So, number 7. In Adam's garden, the flowers are only red or white or yellow or blue. So, only red, white, yellow or blue. The chart shows the number of red flowers, the number of white flowers and the number of yellow flowers. So the number of blue flowers is not included. On the y-axis, we can see that it says the number of flowers. Then along the bottom, on the x-axis, we've got the colour. So they've given us red, white and yellow. So part A, the total number of flowers is 30. Work out the total number of blue flowers. So what we want to work out first is how many red, white and yellow flowers there are. So first we need to work out what each one of these line gaps is worth. If we look over here, we can see that going from 0 to 2 is 1, 2 gaps, then from 2 to 4 is 1, 2 gaps again. So each one of these lines is worth 1. So I'll just write a little legend here. That is equal to 1. So that's a very important thing to check, because clearly if these gaps were worth 2, say, then we get a very different answer. So now we just need to work out what each of these is worth. So here I'd recommend using a ruler if you've got one, just laying it across like that, making sure the top of it lies up on this side, and then you can read off the number on this side. That's the easiest way of doing it. So for the first one for red, we can see that it lines up here and we get 8. So I'll just put a little 8 there. For white, we do the same again, draw a little line across, and we get 10. So for the white, there are 10. Next up, we've got yellow, a little bit further down. So again, we'll follow across here, and we get 5. So we've got 5 for yellow. Let's have a look at tackling this first part of the question then. So work out the number of blue flowers. So we've got 30 flowers. We'll work out how many of these 3 there are in total first, and then we'll take that away from 30 to find our answer of blue flowers. So first up, 8, 10 and 5. These I've got from up here, 8 red flowers, I'll just little R there, 10 white flowers, so a little W, and then 5 yellow flowers, so a little white there. So a bit of column addition to work out how many flowers there are in total. So in this column, we've got 8 plus 0 plus 5. So that gets us 13. So we put a 3 down here, move up here. We've carried the 1 from the 13. So now in this column, we've got a 1 and a 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, so we get 23. So the total number of flowers is 30. Now we want the number of blue flowers, so we're going to do the number of red, white and yellow flowers minus from the total. This means that we'll only have the blue flowers left. So we do 30 minus 23 and we get 7. So that's our final answer. So work out the number of blue flowers. So 7 flowers. It's always sensible to put units. In this question they've said the number of blue flowers, so they might not be too fussed about the units, but general rule of thumb, always put units. You're not going to be in trouble for putting units. You might be in trouble if you don't. So moving on to part B, write down the mode. So the mode is the largest group within our collection of. So if we just add blue to our chart here, what we get is, we just draw a little line up here, and there's 6 and 8, and so we get 7. So if we look at these 4 peaks here, we see that 10 there is the tallest one. So white is our mode, because the mode is the one which we have the most of, So as we have the most white flowers, that is our mode. Right, now for question 8. Write the following fractions in order of size. Start with the smallest fraction. So the easiest way to do this is to make it so all of our fractions have the same denominator, because that makes it easy to compare them. For example, 7 over 12 and a half, these are difficult to work out which one is larger, as they're not easy to compare. So for this, we need to work out if we can find a number along the bottom that we can increase all of these on the top and the bottom by, so that they all have the same denominator. Now 12 here looks like a good candidate. So we have 3 times 4 is equal to 12. And also 2 times 6 is equal to 12. So we're going to try and make it so that all of these fractions have 12 as their denominator, because we've worked out we can times the top and the bottom of this one by 4, the top and the bottom of these two by 3, and that'll get 12 on the bottom, and the bottom of this one by 6, because then that'll get 12 on the bottom. So we'll start off with a third, timesing the top and the bottom by 4, so we end up with 4 over 12. This one we're timesing the top and the bottom by 3 to get 12 on the bottom, so we end up with 9 over 12. I'll just write the number I've multiplied it by next to it for clarity. And now this one, a quarter, we want to get 12 on the bottom, so we're going to times the top and the bottom by 3. So we get 3 over 12. And now this one already has 12 on the bottom, so we're just going to leave that as 7 over 12. And now a half. We've worked out that 2 times 6 is equal to 12, so we're going to times the top and the bottom by 6. So what we get is 6 over 12. So that's great. We've worked out what all of these fractions are with 12 as the denominator, and now it's really easy because they all have 12 on the bottom. Now we can just look at the number on the top and see which is biggest. So going along, I've got 4. That's smaller than 9, but then 3 is smaller than 4, so that's the smallest so far, smaller than 7. So our smallest is 3 over 12. Next we'll scan along, we've got 4. 4 is the next smallest one, so 4 over 12. So now we've got 4, 9, 7 is smaller than 9, 6 is smaller than 7, so we have 6 over 12. And now we're left with just 9 and 7, so 7 is smaller than 9, so we're going to write 7 over 12 and then 9 over 12. So let's just check we've got all of them there. We haven't copied any of that down incorrectly, so we've got 9, 9, 7, 7, 6, 6, 4 and 4 and 3 and 3, so that's good. We haven't missed any out. So now I'm going to write them in the original form. You'll get the correct answer if you leave them like this, but I think it's best to write them in their original answer, and then there's no ambiguity there. So first one, 3 over 12, that was originally a quarter, so I'm just going to write a quarter here. Next we had 4 twelfths, that was a third originally, so a third. Next we had 6 twelfths, so that was a half. Next we had 7 twelfths, we didn't change that, so that was what it was originally. And then lastly we had 9 twelfths, so 9 twelfths was 3 quarters. And that's the answer there. Now for question 9. So Ruth left her home at 9 AM and walked to the library. She got to the library at 10:30 AM. Ruth walked at a speed of 4 miles per hour. Work out the distance Ruth walked. So I think the easiest way of tackling this question is to draw out a timeline. So at 9, she was at home, and then just draw a line along here. At 10:30, she was at the library, and we know that she walks at a speed of 4 miles per hour. So speed is equal to 4 miles per hour, and we can think of this as so each hour each hour is 4 miles. So we can think of fancy equations for this, but I think the easiest way of doing it is to just look at this diagram. We've got 9 till 10:30, so we just add in 10 o'clock here, roughly to scale. So we know each hour Ruth can walk 4 miles, so between 9 and 10 o'clock she's walked 4 miles. Now, between 10 and 10:30, how much of an hour is that? So between 10 and 10:30 is 30 minutes, and now 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So 30 minutes is half of 60 minutes, so 30 minutes is equal to half an hour. And as Ruth can walk 4 miles in an hour, in half an hour, she can walk 2 miles. So in here, we've got 2 miles. And now we just need to simply add it together. Between 9 and 10 o'clock, she walked 4 miles. And between 10 and 10:30, she walked another 2. So she walked 6 miles. That's a big old slog to the library. Fair play on her. So 6 miles she walked. Right. Now on to part B. Ruth got to the library at 10:30 a.m. and she stayed at the library for 50 minutes. Then she walked home. Ruth took 1¼ hours to walk home. At what time did Ruth get home? So what we've got, we'll draw a little timeline up here again. At 10:30, she gets to the library. Then she's at the library for 50 minutes. So first we need to work out what time she leaves the library. And then she walks home, and that took her 1.25 hours. A bit speedier than on the way in. Clearly wanted to get home and grab some dinner. So that was 1.25 hours. So, and the question says, what time did Ruth get home? So this is the answer we want. That's what we're trying to work out here. So intermediate step, we want to work out what this is, and then it make it easier to work out this. So first up, we'll start down here. We have 10:30 plus 50 minutes. Now I find it a bit easier to break this into bits. So 30, we have 30 minutes through to 11. So if we split 50 into plus 30 plus 20, because 30 plus 20 is 50, so that's okay. So now 10:30 plus 30 minutes is 11. So we get to 11 o'clock plus 20 minutes. And 11 o'clock plus 20 minutes is simply 11:20. So now we can fill in this question mark here, and we get that she left the library at 11:20. So now, what's 11:20 plus 1.25? These are different units, so it's a bit confusing. But what we're going to do is 11:20, and now 1 hour, as we've written just above 1 hour, is equal to 60 minutes. And 1/4, so 1/4 of an hour, is equal to 60 divided by 4. Now I'm going to do a bit of bus stop division here. So 60 divided by 4. So what's 6 divided by 4? Well, we can put the 4 into 6 one time, so we get a 1 up here. And what's left over is 2, because 4 plus 2 is 6. So we carry the 2 and we get 20 here. Now what's 20 divided by 4? If we do our 4 times tables, we get 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So we get a 5 here. And sure enough, we get that 1/4 of an hour is 15 minutes. So I'll just put equals 15 here. So now 11:20 plus 1.25 is in fact 11:20 plus 1 hour plus 15 minutes. Just add an hour in there to make it clear. So first we're going to add on the first hour. That's nice, easy. So 12:20, we've just done 11 plus 1 is equal to 12. So 12:20 plus 15 minutes. So now we just focus on the second part of this. We got the 12 already, and then 20 plus 15 That's 35. So Ruth gets home at 12:35, just in time for lunch. Marvellous. 12